Hey, this is Johnny Duke with Keller Williams Real Estate, Georgetown, Texas.
I'm Tom Halleck with Bank of Texas Mortgage in Austin, Texas.
Awesome. Hey, so we got a guru here. He's a mortgage banker, and we're just talking about interest rates and how they change and where they're going to be in the future, or where they are now, and how that can affect your buying power. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, and so interest rates are always going to be moving. Interest rates, mortgage interest rates will change a little bit every day. Right now they're in the mid 4s on a 30-year fix for an owner-occupied property. The thing that I run into a lot with people is they think that when the Fed raises interest rates, that's going to raise mortgage rates. The Fed rate is actually short-term interest rates, which is different. Mortgage rates are going to loosely follow the 10-year bond market, which is, interestingly enough, it'll be affected by the same factors as the Fed rate, but it can also be affected by political news, world news. One of the all-time lows in interest rates was when Brexit happened. So it's something that people wouldn't necessarily consider. So if you hear that rates are going up or that the Fed is raising rates, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to price you out of a house. But over time, most experts do believe that rates are going to continue to rise. The last decade has been the lowest in history for mortgage rates, and so there's really nowhere to go but up, is what most people believe.
Okay, so I've heard this, and I don't know the numbers, but right now we're in the mid 4s. So if someone's like, "Hey, I'm not buying now. I'm going to wait for 6 months." Let's say it's a year, and they're on the fence, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to save some more money, whatever." Buying power is affected by that, correct?
Yeah.
So, do you know? I don't know if you know the numbers just right offhand, but like on a $300,000 house, and if it's at 5.5 or 4.5, how does that work?
Yeah, a rough calculation people say is for every point that interest rates go up, it's going to affect your buying power 12%.
12%?
Yeah, which people hear 12% and think that's not humongous, but that's a pretty significant bump when you're talking about a $300,000 home. I mean, that puts you below that mark a year from now.
Well, that means you're getting black appliances, not stainless steel, and no granite, guys. I mean, that matters, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of change in 12%, and especially in a year. I mean, you've seen what the Central Texas market has done year over year for the last decade, and the people who said I'm going to wait a year, have now been priced out in a lot of cases.
Hey, so with that being said, tell me if I'm good on my math here. So 12, you said 12%. So on 100,000, that's 12,000. 200,000 is 24,000. 3 is 36,000.
Yeah.
See, I went to school. So I mean,
it's only got so many fingers, though.
Yeah. So then you get up to 5, and that's 60,000.
Yeah.
Right? 500,000.
Yeah.
12%. So with that being said, I'm sitting there going, wow. You start thinking about it like that, and that's real money. That's real upgrades. That's square footage. That's whatever. So I don't know if people really talk about that, but we bought a house 3 years ago. Tom was our lender, and we were at 3.5. So had we waited, another year, it was just less buying power for us, and rates went almost to 5 recently, didn't they?
They did, yeah. In late 2018, they did.
So 1.5 in 2 years. So guys, no one knows what the future holds. And what I'm trying to do is go, hey, let's be thinking about that. And if you're on the fence, I would urge you to really reconsider that and talk to Thomas about getting pre-approved, and just be informed. And that starts with Thomas.
Yeah, and the great thing about mortgages is, if you do buy, and let's say rates were at 5.5 or 6, and then they come back down, there's always a refinance opportunity. So there are ways to make it even, make your monthly debt look more manageable. But if rates go up and up and up, then there's no way to pull them back down. So.
Gotcha. So where do you think we'll be in maybe 6 months?
It's hard to say. I mean, there's so many world and political events that could happen or may happen. Most experts believe they're going to continue to rise.
Oh, wow.
So it's just something where you can plan for the worst and then hope for the best.
So historically, Thomas, 3.5, 4.5.
Those are all historical lows.
So 4.5 is really solid, right?
The lowest average rate in a decade previous to this decade was 6.1. So it's historically low still. Even if it went up to 5.5, it would still be in the range where it's a very unique time in history.
So I hate to use the word crying about it, but we can't change it. However, you can be proactive and be informed. Hopefully this video is doing that for you. And then at the same time, just know 3.5, 4.5, even 5. Guys, my parents they're like in the 80s, were 17%. I hear these stories from other people in the office, and really in the, I want to say mid 90s, they were in the 7s and 8s. Am I correct? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So 4.5 is nothing. Get off the fence if you're thinking about it, and let's get you into Thomas's office and get you pre-approved.